What up? What up? What up? I want to welcome everybody to the On the Map podcast. You know what it is. I'm your host, Coach Paul. That handsome young fellow over there is my co-host Jay, and it's playoff time, baby. It is playoff time. These brackets have dropped. Open D1, D2, D3. Man, do we got some stuff to talk about tonight? Before we get into it, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Black Market Chicken, Never Waver Apparel. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications so you get notified anytime a new episode drops. And let's get into it. Jay, what we got, man? What we got? We got some big things going on right now, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's playoff time. This is probably gonna be one of our more lengthy episodes. Frankly, we haven't had an episode in a while. It's been a couple weeks. But yeah, we are busy people, so I'm just excited to finally talk about playoffs because that's what everybody looks forward to. Open to D3. So I'm just excited.
Man, we got some. Let's get right into it, man. Like, there was some traction over the weekend. Like, everybody was following my tweets. Like, I was being very transparent. This is as of today, 11:02. You saw the screenshots. I put the time because I had people fact checking me the other day on some stats. I didn't put the time in the screenshot, so it looked like I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So I made sure I put the time. So yeah, man, this open division, man. Let's get right to it. Our first game.
Yeah, let's get right into it. We'll start open, go D1, D2, D3. We don't want to waste a lot of people's times. We know a lot of people of our listeners are, I guess, fans or parents of open division D1 teams. So Let's get straight into it. Off the top of my head, I already know the seedings. So first seed is Carson. They will be hosting King Drew, who made it to the 8th seed. Second seed is Birmingham, and they'll face Kennedy. So that's a nice little San Fernando Valley matchup. Third seed is San Pedro, and number 6 is Crenshaw. So San Pedro will host Crenshaw. And then 4 and 5, which is for me the game of the round, Palisades versus Garfield.
Yes, sir.
Palisades will host Garfield at a neutral site, of course. And obviously, we'll get into the matchups more, but that's open division for the LA City section.
Yeah. Hey, man. So with this going on, hold on. We got a special guest. He wants to tell everybody what's up. Come here. Go ahead.
Hi, what's up?
Say welcome to the show, everybody.
Welcome to the show.
All right. Later, bro.
Yeah.
He's been wanting to. I told him he could jump on earlier, and he's been stoked all day. Hey, so let's get right into it. So this Carson King Drew matchup, man, it's gonna be one of those heavyweight fights that is going to surprise some people. Just because, like, I was looking at the stat line for King Drew, right, and like their games they've won and they've won in impressive fashion, and then when they lose, they've lost some close ones. So you just got to make sure that you show up with your A game. And I think this is going to be a dogfight, man. Like, if you can contain Chris Fields and Speedy Myers, man, like, those are their 1-2 punch right now in the backfield. Like, they run that zone read. And if you can control that or contain that, I think they really have a shot, man.
I agree. And for the people who are watching visually, yes, I'm snacking on some chips right now. I'm kind of hungry. But that's besides the points. Yeah, 1 versus 8. King Drew, I kind of just want to talk about where they are as a program.
Yeah.
First open division appearance in school history. They've progressed pretty much. If you think about an ideal progression as a football program, as a starting from scratch football program, King Drew is what you envision. D3 first year, went up to D1, and then they won the championship in D1 last year, and now they're in open. So you can only imagine next year there'll be a contender in open, or maybe like a 2, 3, 4 seed in the open division.
Right.
So kudos to King Drew. Congratulations to Coach Joe Torres, who has it popping down there in LA.
Yeah.
When we get to this matchup, athlete versus athlete, there'll be a lot of athletes, but I mean, it's a 1 versus 8 seed. It's a David versus Goliath type of match.
Yeah.
I do have Carson winning it. I've seen both Carson and I have seen King Drew. Now, granted, I saw Carson week 1 or week 0, whatever you like to call it, and I saw King Drew a few weeks ago, so I have a more recent vivid memory of King Drew rather than Carson. But I mean, yeah, I think it'll be an interesting match for sure. But to be quite frank, I think King Drew is really a year away from competing with even, let's say, a Palisades of this year. Even though I know they beat them in the championship,
Right.
but yeah, this is more of a stepping stone year for King Drew to really solidify themselves. Okay, we can make the Open. Okay, now next year, which is 2026, let's
Yeah.
compete for the Open. Nonetheless, they have athletes. Jaden Mitchell, standout athlete. Joseph, I believe is his first name. Andres, he's
Yeah.
an edge rusher. I really like him. But yeah,
Can't
I have
forget
Carson by
can't forget D'Amico Martin, man. That kid is
D'Amico Martin. Yeah, yeah, he's
a
small,
baller.
but he's fast. He's twitchy. But yeah, I have Carson winning by 2-3 scores.
Okay.
But a boring game, no. It'll be a high flying game for sure.
Yeah. Coach Joe Torres, shout out to him. He was on the show. He was on the show last season. Like, he's doing great things over there, man. Like, he's pushing to get. They're going to be moving to the Marine League soon. Um, he's the only city team that has all three levels. He's got a freshman, a JV, and a varsity team. So he's really building a program over there, man. So it's something special. So I can't wait to see what happens going forward. I'm really excited about this 1 versus 8 matchup. Anything can happen, man. Any given Friday, bro. Uh, it's gonna be like you said. It's gonna be fireworks. Let's get into the next game, bro.
Before, do you want to do a prediction for every game in the Open? I mean, I already get my prediction for the 1-8 seed. I think
Uh,
Carson will win that game.
okay, to be honest with you, this year, this playoffs, you can give predictions. I'm just gonna give an overview. Like, I want to stay neutral in this sense, just because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes.
No, for
I'm just
sure.
gonna, yeah.
Hey,
So I'm gonna stay neutral.
I'll choose sides.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have nowhere. I'll choose sides for sure. Okay, okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's get in. Give us the overview on the 2 versus 7 seed.
All right. So 2 versus 7, we got Kennedy versus no. Who's it? Wait,
Birmingham will host Kennedy.
Birmingham, right? Birmingham versus Kennedy, right? We already know what this is. I tweeted yesterday. The path to winning a championship goes through a charter school named Birmingham. I don't care what they're ranked. They've been ranked. Shout out to Schottenheimer because Schottenheimer kind of was like, "Who's this guy?" They're not ranked for when he retweeted the rankings, and I was kind of like, "Hey, man, I'm not the one that did the rankings." But hey, there. Other than Norbon last year, like that was right. That was the only team that I saw hand in hand, like toe to toe with them. You got to go through the defending champ, man, and until somebody knocks him off, that's who I'm picking. Like I know I said I wasn't gonna pick, but like just man, the amount of athletes they have over there, like that team is just built from the ground up, and I give a lot of props to them. Not taking anything away from Kennedy because Diego is that kid is that kid is a baller, man. His cousin who's on the his cousin who's on the team, also a baller, man. Like Kennedy's been consistently good all year. They've been in the top 5 all year. It hasn't wavered, so it's gonna be a great matchup, man.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be a great matchup. Kind of like King Drew in the sense that Kennedy has, I wouldn't say solidified, but they're progressing. They were a semifinal appearance in D1 last year. 2 years before that, I believe they were in D1. Don't quote me on that, but I know a few years ago they ended up winning a city title with Coach Cassidy.
Okay.
So shout out to this Kennedy program who's picking up more talent in the valley. No, now of course they're not going to be a Sierra Canyon, a Birmingham who attracts a certain type of athlete, but they're getting athletes into that school. So kudos to them. Birmingham is doing what Birmingham does, and I mean you're right. They did have a weird hiccup game this year. I have not seen the film or even the highlights to be quite frank, but they actually Birmingham also only beat Granada Hills 23-16. I did read a few comments that's kind of throwing shade at the refs. So my assumption there was some shady officiating per
Okay.
se during that game that maybe favored Granada Hills more. Maybe it
Okay.
should have been a 2-3 score game. I don't know, so don't quote me. That was just some comments
Yeah.
I read. But yeah, but other than that, it's been usual business for for Birmingham, when it comes to beating teams in the West Valley, they handled everybody. They played a tough non-league, of course,
Yeah,
all Southern section. They beat Hart, I believe. So Harvard Westlake as well. So they're
yeah,
doing their thing, and I mean, yeah, you're right. I know technically they're still 53-0, 54-0 because of the
right,
Narbonne, but against city teams rather. That's the record I'm referring to, where they're 54-0 against city section teams. If you don't count that Narbonne because the whole sanctions or whatever. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean, like when I get to predictions, it's quite clearly it's kind of like the Carson King Drew. I think Birmingham will have no problem getting past this Kennedy team.
okay,
Um, Kennedy played San Pedro, who is the third seed in open division, so one seed below Birmingham, and Pedro beat Kennedy 49-14. So it's kind of you're comparing matchups, because it's
yeah,
high school football, right? So I think that's needless to say. I have Birmingham winning by 2-3 scores. I
okay,
think they'll handle business, but I don't think Kennedy will just roll over. I know they'll score some points because they got good
right,
athletes. They have Diego Montes at quarterback. I don't care who you are, he's good to get a couple drives off where he's
yeah,
really popping. So, I don't really have a direct score line, but give me Birmingham by 2-3 score lines, and then Kennedy. We'll see. This kind of overarching message for next year. I wonder where Kennedy will be as a program next year, coming off an open division appearance, coming off a 9-1 regular season,
right.
coming off back to back to back to back years of being in D1 or open. Now without Diego Montes because he will be graduating. So I'm excited to see where they head as a program after the season.
Yeah, I think it should be very interesting. Um, let's get on to the Pedro Crenshaw. Now, Crenshaw is the surprise team in all of this. It's not. It's no disrespect to the program, but from what I read at the beginning of the season, that they barely had enough people to man a team, right? Um, to all the way to the eighth seed in open division, man. They pulled off that
Six seed.
same, huh? Six seed, yeah,
They're
yeah. Sorry, like they made it to the sixth seed. They were eighth seed last week. They bumped up 2 spots. Sorry, but they pulled off that win against King Drew, man. Like they're here. This is gonna be. I can't wait to see how Seth Solorio and Elias Redlew bounce back after that loss to Carson this past week. Um, like it's going to be very interesting. Like they say, people play motivated after after they take a L. And I know those boys over at Pedro. Um, I know that they were. I went to one of the practices this week, and I kind of watched. I watched their focus. They were dialed in, man. So whatever didn't click and whatever just happened for it to not go their way, I think they bounce back, they regroup, and I'm sorry, like Crenshaw is the next opponent. So like if Crenshaw doesn't come correct, like this, it could be ugly. It could be because like they got vengeance, and if they win this game, they got the winner of Kennedy Birmingham. So like everybody's got to be on their A game this week, but or next week actually because Open starts next week. But I'm excited and I'm really happy for Crenshaw, man. Shout out to that program for getting into Open and I wish him luck.
Yeah, Crenshaw's the surprise of the year for me. If you go back to our season preview prediction show, I had
Right, right.
Crenshaw as a contender in Division Two.
Yeah.
They are in and they're not an eight seed. They're in the sixth seed in the open division. That's a whole two levels above than what I had him at. Um, Surprise of the year for me. I can never give him enough flowers. I'm gonna just keep it like shoot it straight. These kids, a lot of them live in the hood. They live in not the best area. They don't come from a lot of privileges that I had growing up. That I
Right.
took for granted, and they're still making things happen. And you know, Robert Garrett, who was their head coach, they were like unsure if he was going to be head coach, still with the head coach. I believe he's on some sort of administration leave.
Okay.
LAUSD is pretty tight knit about what the situation is, so I don't even know what it really, truly is. All I know is that he's not on the sidelines as head coach right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to this Crenshaw program. They really surprised me. DeAndre Kirkpatrick, who transferred in, he's a D1 guy. He got his two Division 1 offers 2 weeks ago, more or less. and he stands out. He's like the biggest guy on the field, making moves. I don't think he takes a play off. He's on everything. He's on punt, offense, defense, kick return, everything. So I
That
don't
kid
think
don't
that
want to
kid
come off
takes a
the field.
break.
That kid's a dog.
Yeah, he's like 6'3", 6'4" as well. But I say all this to say, you know, Crenshaw has a very, 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 very good starting 11. First 14, 15 on the roster. But their lack of depth will catch up with them, especially in the open division. I don't know how many kids Pedro has, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have more than 40 kids suited up on the varsity roster for the playoff game. Crenshaw will have 30 at most. But yeah,
Oh,
Cesalorio,
Pedro's deep, bro. Pedro is deep, and
yeah,
that's not dressing the JV kids. Like when I went to their practice, they have enough players to run two offensive squads. So they were getting they were doing a defensive period, right? They had a team for offense on the left hash and a team for offense on the right hash. Like they have the numbers. So you better hope you can withstand the test, man, because like if you
yeah,
go start like our Dodgers, maybe we had to go to the bench. If you gotta go to the bench, it may be ugly. It may get
yeah,
ugly. But
yeah. Pedro probably has twice the players Crenshaw
yeah,
has. If you got to go to the bench, Pedro can cover that. That's where Crenshaw will fall through.
yeah,
But Red Lou, Solorio, Jackson Brown as well, who's standing, David Medina as well. Um, Nicholas Prather, that's another one that I really like, who
yeah, yeah,
plays on
yeah.
the line. But yeah, kind of, I have Pedro by a couple scores. You know, I think Crenshaw, this is more of a, I hope it'll be kind of a stepping year that can really, I don't want to see a Crenshaw at a D2, at a D3 level. That's not really them, with such
Yeah.
historic history. Even with players choosing not to go to that school anymore, they still have athletes. But yeah, we'll see where they go after this year. Definitely, they finished league champs, so congrats to them. Surprise of the year from here. But yeah, I have Pedro. They're such a well-oiled machine, and I know they'll have sour taste in their mouths after that Carson loss, and they lost the league championship after that loss, so they'll be hungry. And I
Yeah.
think if my prediction is right, it'll be a Birmingham San Pedro matchup, and I know some staff, some players on that San Pedro team might still have a sour mouth
Yeah.
from the recent history. I don't know that I know they didn't play last year, but still, a Pedro and Birmingham matchup was a championship matchup a few years ago. So I know some of the coaches were still on that coaching staff. So I know that'll be a very, very heated game.
Yeah. And honestly, like I think it's gonna be like when we get to it, like it's just overall, I think next week's like when the open kicks off, like it's gonna be heavy hitting, bro. Like it's going you're going like these teams made it to open for a reason, right? So I think these teams, even though like Crenshaw is a surprise, like I think that if they do what they're supposed to do, we're gonna have great matchups all the way around. Now, let's get to the game that I know I'm excited about and I was hyped about. Um, you're gonna have one of the best passing attacks in City Section versus the best rushing attack in City Section. And we have some unfortunate news. We're not gonna go into detail about what the injury was, but Cesar Reyes will not be finishing the season, from what I was told. Um, man, that's a game changer. Like they had Zastis Urgi, I think is how you pronounce it, is how they told me to pronounce it. Urgi, who stepped in against Eagle Rock. They didn't miss a beat last week when obviously 41-21, like right. They did their thing. Um, so they're gonna have to rely heavily on Zastis this next game because Palisades with Jack Thomas and DeMar, they're coming. They're coming. From everything we've seen, like they have a chip on their shoulder from losing to King Drew in the ship last year. Um, I know they would love to get it, bro. That if King Drew pulls off the upset and Palisades beats Garfield, bro, that is going to be,
Yeah.
bro. I like. Sorry, Southgate. I may go to that game. Like, like, oh no, I can't. My son's playing. I gotta go to the Southgate's game. But that's gonna be something like I'm staring at my phone while I'm in the stands, checking max preps for it. Like, if that were to happen, like I'm gonna be checking scores either way. But Like, I know people would love that rematch.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I
So
do think that coach, uh, I think the coaching staff over at Garfield, Coach Pat has, man, I worked the chains for the Garfield Southgate game. Okay, so for people that are kind of like, what do you mean you work the chains? I'm no longer coaching. I went back to school. As you guys know, I became a teacher at San Pedro. So I was involved, like I got to work the chains. And let me tell you something. You want to be part of a game and like see the other side of something, like just as a fan of pure football, bro, like Coach Pat, the way they coach, the way their staff is like together, bro, it gave me goosebumps. It gave me the itch. Like I wanted, I was like, I need to get back into coaching ASAP. But like to watch like that staff, Garfield staff, even without Caesar, like they are going to be prepared. I will tell you that they will be very prepared. But I don't know if they've seen an explosive offense like Jack and our boy D over there. So it's going to be a great game, man.
this will be a great game. It's the most competitive. You know, if I'm gonna be honest, I think I think every game but this game in the openers and playoffs will be a blowout. Two, three, four scores, except
Okay.
this game. To be
Okay.
quite frank, excuse me, Garfield can't stop Palisades offense, and Palisades defense can't stop Garfield attack. Even without Garfield's star running back, Cesar Reyes, who is unfortunately out. Wishing him a speedy recovery.
Speedy
It's a
recovery,
matter
bro.
of who gets one stop or who gets the last stop, who gets the ball last. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
Demar, and I've actually been. I don't know if his uncle watches, but I've been pronouncing Demar his name wrong. It's Damari. I always thought it was
Sorry.
Demar.
Yeah, my
So
bad.
apologies for that, Damari. But yeah, his name Oklahoma commit, best player in the city section by far. Getting the rock thrown to by Jack Thomas of Palisades versus Garfield, who's gonna run the ball down your neck every time. You know, I know Caesar Reyes is out, but Caesar Reyes when he played at Coach Paul's Southgate, he broke a school record. He ran for over 400 yards.
42 attempts, 420 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That
Yeah,
kid, I wish you a speedy recovery, Caesar, man. Like, I know your team is going to miss you, especially now. But Zastis, man, hey, your stat line last week against Eagle Rock, the ball's in good hands. The ball's in good hands.
yeah. So this is the most exciting game. You know, I usually try to go to like a Birmingham the first round just because I'm in the
Right.
valley and they're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
close. But I'll make the drive to whatever venue Palisades is using to
Ooh,
host Garfield because
he's gonna drive over.
yeah, Santa Monica. I don't know
Damn.
where they're gonna host, but yeah, that's gonna be such an exciting game. It's gonna be the most
Yeah,
even game. This is the one game where I'm actually, struggling to really pick a winner because I can see, Palisades line, giving up
right.
towards the end after 30, 40 rush attempts, but I could also see, Garfield's secondary giving up after DeMar DeZern has 3 touchdowns or Harrison Carter has 8 receptions and whatnot. So
Hey,
I
the
don't
one
know.
thing I'm gonna tell you about that Garfield team, bro, they have no give up. Like they don't. They don't. Like like one of their kids was getting roasted by Nick, and he was still talking shit. Like
Yeah.
no give up, bro. That team is all heart. That team is heart. And I think if anything gets them through, like if if they have any fall off, what's going to keep them on track is the fact that these kids have heart. Like they're not going to give up. Like that's one thing I'll say. Like even if Damari goes off, right? Like and he's just their bombs over Baghdad, those kids aren't going to quit. Like it's going to be a dogfight for them, for real, for real, for real.
That's a good thing that you brought up because this is heart versus heart. This is grit versus grit. East LA Garfield, that's just naturally in their blood. All those kids
Yeah.
are in Garfield. But we also have this Palisade teams who we know what they're playing for. The
Yep.
Palisades fired earlier this
Yep.
year. So both teams are playing for a reason. Both teams are not going to give up. Both teams have heart. So
Yeah.
that's I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I didn't mention. That's why this game is so hard to pick a winner. I'm
Yep.
gonna say flip a coin. Whoever lands on that's your winner. So that's gonna be my answer. But yeah, I was reading a comment earlier today or maybe a few days ago, um, basically saying I believe it was I'm not sure who it was actually, but it was how was Palisades fourth seed after we went 10-0. So I kind of want to touch on that. Like, what do you?
Oh yeah, so it was a comment that was left on my page.
Yeah, but I think I was tagged in it, so like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it came up on my thing.
yeah,
So, what
yeah.
are your opinions on the rankings as a whole? How the computer does it?
To be
Fair?
honest,
You want to add some human element? What are your critiques?
honestly, like I don't have a problem with the rankings. Like I don't know why people take the rankings so personal. Like I get it, I get it. You've worked hard all year. You went undefeated, but we watch it happen in college football all the time. Like we know the computer, there's some sort of human element in it, as you can see, because the way certain teams moved up, like in the last 2 days, like well, not even the last 2 days, like in the day, like I posted, and then 6 hours later, here we go, right? Like I get it, I understand the frustration, but honestly, like, is it because you feel you're not gonna get the opponent you want, or like I don't know. I just don't see the comment. To me, I kind of ignored it. Like I read it, but I didn't. And no disrespect to the person that left me the comment. Like you're entitled to it. I just feel at this point like you got to deal with the hand you're dealt, and that's what I told him. You got to deal with the hand you're dealt. And they can make noise at the 4 spot. Like just saying. Like, so is the person? Did he think that they should be higher because they were 10-0? Um, if anybody has a case, it's Birmingham too. Like their strength of schedule was
Mm,
ridiculous. Like, you feel
yeah,
me?
yeah. I think the comment was insinuating maybe they should have been. I don't think they were arguing. Oh, we should have been the one seed. Maybe they. I think the comment was insinuating maybe we should have been a little higher. But I mean, yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat you're on. City section is different than Southern section because there's only
Yeah.
four divisions: D1, 2, 3, and open. Southern
Right.
section you have to do 14. So in other words, there's gonna be a lot of teams that get screwed out. You know, they talk about
Mhm.
all these at large bids. I don't honestly, I don't even know what any of those things mean. At large bids, conference win. I know what a conference winner is, but
Yeah.
you know when all these southern.
At large is the third place team in your league that makes the playoffs. So that's an
Yeah,
at
so
large.
yeah, so I didn't even know that. Like, and quite frankly, I didn't really. Not that I don't care. It's just I'm not into Southern section football.
Right.
You know, it's really self-explanatory. You know, there's 71, 70 team city section. Make the top 55, you're in the playoffs. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm a fan that I like it because, you know, gives a lot of these kids to compete. Let's be real, not everybody's going to be a D1 athlete like these kids that are playing at Bosco, all these Trinity League teams. You know, it gives these kids, like I played on a Division 3 team my senior year and we won the championship. It was a great experience. All these things about we should only have one division and that's it. Participation trophy. It's high school, guys. You know how many of us are going to go pro? Less than 1%. Let these kids have fun.
Yep.
Let them enjoy themselves. Let them compete for something because kids' athletic capacity is capped. They can't really change too much of how tall they are, how far they jump, how strong.
Yeah.
Well, they can change how strong they are. But yeah, I'm kind of swaying off the point.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
really like this playoff system with some human element to it. And honestly, strength of schedule is everything. If you want a high seed, schedule up and compete.
Right.
Birmingham is second seed, despite having been 2-3 going into their league. You know, Palisades was 10-0, but they did play. You know, they played at El Camino, who was a Division 1 city team. They played Mary Star was a good team. They scheduled Dimely, and I know they didn't play because Diamond counts with the football program. But yeah, there were some weaker teams on that Palisades team.
Yeah.
So that's not a knock to them because they handled business and they
Right.
got the dub and they beat up on some teams. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
strength
Yeah.
of schedule. A 10-0 against four city teams and maybe one Southern Section team compared to a 5-5 where you have all your maybe like a 6-4, you win your whole league and you beat one Southern section. That's different. You know, schedule up if you really want a high seed. You know,
Yeah.
look at Crenshaw who is a 6 seed. You know, look at Birmingham. Carson is number 1. San Pedro, they are like 6-4, 7-3. They have a couple losses, but all their losses were to Southern section teams. They lost to Great Oak, lost to Torrance, El Madonna, Laguna Beach. You know,
Yeah.
San Pedro's 5-5. Yeah, so straight to schedule, and they're the what, the number 3 seed.
Hmm.
So that's kind of my spiel about playoff rankings when it comes to LA City. I know Southern
Yeah.
Section is different. I'm not well versed in Southern Section. I love LA City, and that's where I'll
Yeah. Yeah.
stick. But yeah, just be good enough to be 56 or higher. I don't know what the number is, and you'll be in D3 at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah. That's honestly, that's all I want to say about that. Like, because we can get sidetracked about all this other stuff, and we can go down that rabbit hole, and we don't need to. So let's get to D1.
Yes, sir. D1. This one, I always love Division One because it's really really competitive. It's a level of genuinely good LA City football, competitiveness, parity, and just dogfights. I guess I'll just read off the matchups.
Yeah.
There are 16 teams in Division 1 through 3, so it's no longer 8 teams. So I will say a few more matchups. So I will say them a little slowly just for the viewers. But yeah, I'll go ahead and start off. So the 1 seed versus 16 seed, we have Venice, who's the number 1 seed, and they'll host Bell, who finished 16 seed. Shout out to an Eastern League team making D1. And then the 2nd seed is a team Coach Paul is very familiar with, the Southgate Rams,
Let's go,
pushed
baby.
up to the 2nd seed in Division One, and they'll be hosting Lincoln, who is in the Northern League. So that's a great natural progression for Southgate.
Yep.
3rd seed is Eagle Rock, and they'll be hosting the 14th seed, which is a school I'm familiar with because I'm an alumni and I played on the team. Taft High School here in Woodland Hills. Shout out to Taft making D1. And then we have the 4th seed, which is going to be Banning, and they will host a 13th seed, Van Nuys, which shout out to Van Nuys making D1. It was not too long ago where they were going 0-10, 1-9 for a few years in a row.
Yeah.
5th seed versus the 12th seed, we have Marquez, who finished as the 5th seed, and they will host Granada Hills. It's a very interesting matchup. The 6th seed will be El Camino Real, and they will host the 11th seed, Dorsey High School. And I do have a few comments about that as well.
Okay.
And then we have the game of the round, in my opinion, just because of competitiveness and the equalness. We have Gardena, who finishes the 7th seed, and they will host Hamilton. And of course, I do have a few comments about that matchup. And then we have the 8th versus the 9th seed, which will be Franklin, who's the 8th seed, and they're going to host Westchester, who finished as the 9th seed. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's it. That's all of Division One. How do you want to start? 1 to
All
16 or
I'm
8
gonna
through
say
9?
is a shout out to Hamilton. I told you guys that the game I wanted to see was Hamilton versus Venice, and boy, it did not disappoint. Double overtime or overtime? It was double overtime.
I think it was, I don't
Either
know,
way,
overtime.
it went to OT.
Something,
Yeah,
yeah.
hell of a game. Shout out to my boy Butler. Hey, he stays on the Twitter, man. I appreciate the love, man.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations to Hamilton. Thaddeus Burrow is the number 2 quarterback in the city section as a freshman, and you called it, sir. That team is, sheesh,
Yeah,
man. That's
yeah,
all
yeah.
I gotta say.
I
Um,
will sorry, go ahead.
no, yeah, yeah. But out of all these games, man, like this Venice Bell matchup, like 1 versus 16. I They got Joshua Aaron, man. That's all. Like I'm they Venice is stacked. Like Bell has their work cut out for them. This should be a good game. But do I think it's going to be lopsided? It could be. It very well could be. Um, I played Venice 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I was at HP, and they boat raced us. So it can very well happen to you. So I know Bell's very competitive. They got some scrappy kids on the team, but I don't know if they have what it takes to beat Venice. But anything's possible. Like I said, Joshua Aaron is a steeple of that team, and it should be a good game, man. And it's kind of where I'll leave it.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Since you're not doing official predictions, I'll go ahead and say it. Venice will win this game. I don't think it'll be super close. But man, shout out to Bell. They're in D1. They were in D1 last season, right? I believe.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think yeah, yeah, yeah. So they're sticking in D1. To be quite frank, I thought they were going to be a team in D2, D3 when they graduated Eric Stubbs, who was a stud at running back. So shout out to Bell making it. Eastern League, East LA, making it out to the Division One playoffs. But yeah, I mean Venice. Venice is a damn good team, and it's weird. The Western League this year was really weird. I hyped it up a lot because we know what we had with Palisades. We knew
Yeah,
Venice was going to be good. Coach Gasca, who's coached there for longer than I've been alive, probably. And then we had Hamilton, the new guys on the block, and then this team
yep,
University that had a lot of young athletes and now sleeping on. And University goes and beat Hamilton, and I'm like, oh, now University can be a good team in D1, but then University goes on to lose out in league, and then
yeah,
Hamilton loses to University, and they lose to Westchester, but then
yeah,
they beat Venice.
yeah.
And the only team that really handled business was Palisades. Obviously, they won the league. So the Western League was weird.
Yeah.
Bunch of highs and lows. A team that was expected to be second losing to a fourth place team, and then the fourth place team loses out. Now it was weird.
Yeah.
So, but that's high school. That's high school football, and
Yeah.
that's why a lot of people are fans. But yeah, Venice, as you mentioned, Joshua Aaron is their star. He's their star player, the senior. Aaron Minter as well, who's at receiver,
Yeah.
and they got a D1 guy. They got a guy on the edge. He probably plays on the offense as well. Jonathan Sharp. He's a
Okay.
senior, and he's a D1 guy. He got offered by Southern Utah not too long
Nice.
ago. And he's a guy. I mean, and this Venice team, look, they're tough. They're 5-5, yes. They lost to Hamilton and Palisades, yes. But I mean, they played tough teams. They played Westlake. Westlake was 10-0 this year. They played Norwalk and they lost by one, and then they played Saint Monica, not Santa Monica,
Mhm.
Saint Monica,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
lost by one score. So they're competing, and they beat Harvard Westlake, by the way, a Southern
Mhm.
Section team. So they're competing, they're scheduling up. That's why they're the
Yeah.
one seed. So shout out to this Venice team. Score predictions I won't have for any game, but give me Venice by 2, 3, 4 scores. I think Venice will handle
Man,
business, and
they're gonna boat race them.
I think so, man. Venice has some athletes. If you're competing with Norwalk
Yeah.
and losing by 2 against Palisades, I know
Yeah.
Palisades doesn't have the best defense, but still,
I get you.
I think Venice will handle business handily.
I get you. I get you. Yeah. Um. Shout out to that whole league, man. Like, uh, I'm very impressed with what they did this year. There was a bunch of teams that at the beginning of the season, me and you thought were well. At the end of last season, we were just like, this league is all right. It was rough, right? And then coming into this year, like you've been a advocate for Hamilton from the very beginning, um, and University stepped up, man. Like I'm excited to see what this league becomes because they're getting talent into those schools. That league turns into a gauntlet. Some people have some like it's going to be a whole lot of trouble for a whole lot of people. Like you're
For
going to have
sure.
to adapt because that league is looking very bright, very bright. You get
University
that, you
Hamilton,
get
yep.
that, yeah. You get Thaddeus a couple more pieces, bro. You got. I don't really cuss on this show. I normally edit it out, but I'm not editing this one. You got a fucking team, bro. Like for real. Like you get those pieces, it's gonna be a nightmare for a whole lot of people, and that's a good thing, man. And the evolution of the city is what I like to see, and it's happening. It's happening.
It's happening, yeah. Western League is going up. I think the top two. I won't. We have a lot of matches to go out. This will be really quick. I think University and Hamilton have the most promise in terms of how much room they have to improve. Venice will always be Venice as long as Coach Gasca's there. Palisades is interesting because Jack Thomas is graduating, and I know Damari and Jack are friends. Obviously off the field, which is why Damari transferred in. So now with Jack graduating, I wonder if Damari is going to stay or he's going to move. So it's a bit of a question mark behind Palisades. But let's not forget Westchester, who was under first year head coach, NFL veteran Cam Graham. He was at
Yeah,
Riverside, the JUCO, Riverside, the
yeah,
JUCO
yeah.
here in California. So he has things moving. And Fairfax, this was expected. They're going to have a bit of a down year. So we can see if they can bounce back. But yeah, that's the spiel I have on Western League. We got a lot more matchups and 2 other divisions still. But I want to get your overview because this next matchup is a team that you coach, that your son is on that team. He attends that high school.
Yeah.
Southgate, number 2 seed versus 15 seed Lincoln. Let me hear your overview of the matchup.
It's going to be a. It's going to be. We played them last year. I did. I really don't know what they had this year. That whole league. It seemed they kind of struggled a little bit. Like they had their ups and downs. Like, it happens. Them coming in at a 15 seed, like us being number two. I think this is like I can't say it any other way. Like it's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be a long night. Like, um, with the way Mike, Nick, Nico are clicking on cylinders. If Coach Cisco has that defense and he can get that defense dialed in, it's gonna be a very long night. It's gonna be a very long night. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Lincoln, but I'm just that confident in Southgate. Like, um, you have Johnny Williams stepping up with 2 picks last game. Almost had 3. Man, yeah, 26-0 is not really an indication just because our offense normally scores a lot of points. But everybody has an off game. Defense had a shutout, so that's good. But Lincoln coming into this was never like on. They've never been on. Like they weren't really on my radar. Like to be honest with you, like, and that's no. I'm not trying to take a shot at them, but yeah, I don't. I don't see them pulling this off. Like I could be wrong, but it's gonna be a good boat race. It's like my only prediction, boat race, bro. Like Southgate just has too many weapons, man. Like it's way too many.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. Lincoln, they play in the Northern League, so Eagle Rock, Franklin, Marshall, Wilson. They finished third, behind Franklin, who was second, and Eagle Rock, who ended up being the Northern League champ. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it is more of I guess you could say, if the word I'm looking for, a low key football program when it comes to Twitter, because as everybody knows, Twitter is where you go to promote yourself as a coach, as a player, as a recruiter when it comes to high school football, especially. But yeah, I mean, look, they lost to University by 2. That was a close game, and they beat Ganesha, a Southern Section team. This Ganesha team, they won their league. Now, is this a Southern Section power? No, but I mean, they're 7-3. They handled business when they scheduled the teams like a Hollywood or like a Manual Arts. Scheduling down, you
yeah.
can say they handled their business. But yeah, I mean, look, I have Southgate for sure. I think Lincoln, they'll have an element of surprise because we don't know how. Obviously, we're not coaches, so we don't have the huddle film to see. I don't think they're gonna roll over, but when you have Nicholas Fonseca, who if you don't have a guy who has almost 10 Division One offers in Elijah Staples, you take him out the picture. Nicholas Fonseca is the best player in D1, by far.
Yeah.
Um, so you're not
So
gonna stop him, to be quite frank.
I do got to give Lincoln credit. Like I'm over here being a homer, so it is what it is.
Yeah, they're 7-3. They had some good non-league
Yeah, but
wins.
they put up points. Like their average, like their lowest game is 19 points or 14 against Eagle Rock, and then 19 against University. But that was the first game, so they're putting up 35 or more, so they can score. Um, but they also, yeah, like the offense at Southgate is at. It's gonna be. It looks like if we go by numbers, it could be a barn burner. So I'll take the boat race off the table. I won't homer it. I'll let the stats lead me. It's going to be a barn burner, but I still got Southgate pulling this out.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So, I agree too. I agree. So is not a real term. Don't use that, everybody who's trying to learn English. Next matchup will be the third seed versus the 14th seed. Third seed is Eagle Rock. 14th seed is Taft. I'm an alumni of Taft. Give your little overview of it from what you know about the matchup.
So I don't really know a lot about Taft except their quarterback yeah, not their quarterback. Oh man, I forgot who it was. But the team overall is is to me. I'm excited that they made D1. Because last year, why do I always confuse them with Fairfax? Was it Fairfax that was in D2 last year?
Yeah, you always
Yeah.
confuse them.
Dang. Sorry, man.
There's nothing in common other than red. They're not even
Okay,
near
no.
us.
So it is their quarterback. It's Swinson. This
Yeah,
kid's
Nathan
thrown for like
Swinson.
he's thrown for like 2,300 yards, bro. Like this is gonna be a game. Like when we say like when when it was Diego versus Liam, like now you have Liam versus Swinson. Like this is gonna be a shootout. Like it's gonna be a good game. Like overall, I think both teams are solidified of where they're at. Taft is coming in trying to make some noise and trying to prove that they belong. Um, their quarterback is doing a hell of a job. They have a receiver. His It's Eric Corone. Uh, kid's nice, man. Like kid can get open too. Like kid's smooth. So um, Eagle Rock's Eagle Rock, bro, and they've been consistently good. Let's see if they can do what they're supposed to do and beat a team that's not as superior as they are. But if Eagle Rock does get caught sleeping, um, Taft will do some damage and pull off the upset.
Hmm. I don't see that happening because they played earlier this year. Eagle Rock won 56-21. Um, Eagle Rock is superior. Shout out to my Taft Toradors, though. I know we're not going to lay down. I know we've learned our lesson and we'll make things tough. Shout out to Coach Randolph. He was the JV head coach my last year there. So I'm glad
Yeah,
to see that he has taken over. I believe it's his second year taking over. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm not going to go too much into it because we already know what this matchup is. We've
yeah.
seen it earlier this year in non-league. Eagle Rock won by, I don't know what is that,
It's
four
50,
touchdowns,
it's
50?
56-21.
Yeah, yeah. So I got Eagle Rock, but I know my Tap Toros won't lay down. But yeah, that's what I got for that matchup.
All right, what we got next?
So our next matchup is going to be the fourth seed versus the 13th seed. Give me a second. I lost it. Yeah. So the fourth seed in D1 is Banning High School. 13th seed is Van Nuys. This
Sorry,
is
it's
at
over. It's over.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
over. I'm sorry, Van Nuys. I love you. Congratulations to making it one. You're not beating Banning. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Sorry.
I was gonna give kudos to Van Nuys for being D1
I
because
gave
they
him kudos.
finished.
I did. I gave him the
Yeah,
kudos. I said
yeah,
congratulations. You made it to D1.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like they're 9-1. They lost to Kennedy 40-10, so 30 points. And Kennedy's they're in their league. That's why they played. Kennedy's in open, but I just want to give kudos because I mean, like, you go back 2-3 years, this team was forfeiting games, not enough
Yeah.
players.
Right.
0-10, 0-9 seasons, and now they're in D1, and they were in D3 finals last year. So this is a
Yeah.
big jump.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Kudos to them, and I know Diego Herrera is a pretty good quarterback down there at Van Nuys. But yeah, I mean, like you said it, Vanny should have no problem handling these guys. If should they handle business, the game could be over by the third quarter, second quarter, maybe. Yeah, Vanny has a lot of athletes and they're tough. And I know I'm not. I know Cody Galloway has been battling some injuries towards the ends. I don't know if he's going to be available for this game or for playoffs. But if he is, I know he'll definitely do his thing. But yeah, I got Banning. I don't got much else to say.
Yeah. Marine League. That's all I'm saying. Like you got two Marine League teams in D1 that everybody needs to be worried about. Everybody. Everybody needs to be worried about these two Marine League teams. The last time Banning was in D1, Banning won the whole thing. So if you guys know if that's any indication of where my mind's at right now, I just gave it to you. So everybody better, like, you got to come with it. Like these Marine teams are no joke. Like nobody in D1 is a joke, but like you got, you better come with it and better come ready. So, um, good luck, Van Nuys. I hope I, I wish you luck. I really do. Congratulations on making it to D1. From being D3 to D1 is a great leap. Your program is
Mm-hmm.
going in the right direction. So hopefully this performance will get you some kids that can ultimately put you back in D1 next year, and maybe you'll be a little higher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shout out Van Nuys. I got Banning. Next matchup.
Yeah. Who is it? Is it Marquez Granada Hills?
Alrighty. Yeah. Next matchup is the fifth seed versus 12th seed. Fifth seed is Marquez, and they'll host Granada Hills here from the Valley. This is an interesting
Bro,
matchup.
very interesting. Very interesting nonetheless. Go ahead, give your spiel. I have something written down that I want to like that I'm gonna pull up really quick because
Yeah.
I want to talk about it. Go ahead.
So we know what Granada Hills is going to do. They're just going to run the ball. That's the Bookie Brooks system. They're going to run the ball down your throat, and they'll live by it and they'll die by it. They finished the year 5-5. They lost against Palisades, Venice as well. Palisades is open. Venice is the number one seed. So I'm using that as kind of a good reference point. So if they're losing by 11 points, so two scores technically
Mhm.
against the number one seed in D1, that kind of makes me, I kind of start to envision how they'll match up against another team, such as a Marquez in the fifth seed. But I mean, yeah, they'll live and die by the running system. They have some athletes down there, or I guess up here, since you're here in the valley. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Marquez is interesting. We knew going into league they were going to handle business. To be quite frank, it's not the best league. And non-league, I believe they went undefeated and they only lost to Rio Hondo Prep, who ended up in Division 5 in the Southern Section playoffs. So it's not a slouch. They're not some random team from the IE or whatever. They lost to them and they did lose to Eagle Rock. So that's kind of that's interesting, And let's not hide the fact that Marquez is the best player in the division. Elijah Staples, athlete,
right.
edge, receiver. They probably put him wildcat. I don't know actually. But yeah, he has 10. He has 8, 9, 10 Division 1 offers, 3-star Division 1
Yeah,
guy. So we'll see how far he can take them. And I know it's not a one-man show. I have to give more credit
it's
to
so I'm
the other
glad you brought
players.
that up. Right,
Yeah, they have
I'm glad
dogs
you
on
brought
that
that up.
team. Anthony Ford. They have great kids on that team. In terms of a prediction, I think Marquez is going to win, but only by a score. And I think
Okay,
it'll be a bit of a slug, not a shootout, a slugfest. Maybe like a 14-10 or a 17-14 type of match. But I do have Marquez squeaking by.
okay. Um, like I'm glad you brought it up. Not a one man thing. I know earlier in the like last season, like when we talked about Marquez, like Elijah was like really just the main focal point, but I want to give a shout out to the following people. So I wrote it down because I got to give credit where credit's due. Um, man, Angelo Gutierrez Molina, the quarterback, man, AGM kid is balling right now. Like, so the captain of the ship is doing his thing. You have Horacio Barco with 9 sacks this year. You got Mario Flowers averaging 8 tackles a game. You got Marcus Juan. He's averaging 100 yards a game. They're running back. And then, like you said, Anthony Ford, and you have Elijah Staples, man. Like, honestly, just based off of just like you said, he is as of right now, just overall, he is the number one player in D1. And Nick is right behind him, Nicholas Fonseca. There's some other kids that are starting to make a rise in the city, but I want to shout out those young men on the Marquez team because they did take it personal when I left them out, or when we left them out, like because they were like, "Hey, it's not just him, it's all of
Mm-hmm.
us,"
Yeah.
and they were right. Like, and they're doing their thing. So shout out to the coaches over there. I ran into them. Me and my family were eating, and we ran into the coaches staff 2 weeks ago. I got to talk to Elijah. They FaceTimed him. He said he can't wait to be on the show. So we got to give him his date.
There we
Yeah,
go. Talk soon, Elijah. Talk soon.
yeah. So, Granada Hills Charter, man. I don't know a lot about them. I just know that they're a very structured program. Um, they have athletes that come in. I know they've lost a couple athletes. So we'll see. We'll see what they're able to do. I know the coaching staff over there runs a very well-oiled program. I know losing the Stanley, like the cousins, right? The Dejon Stanley and all them, his cousins, they all transferred out, right? So, like, they lost some key players, but I heard that they have some guys there. So this could be a good match, man. It just we'll see. Um, but I think Granada Hills is up against it in this one. I really do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're mainly a run team, to be honest. They don't really pass. I would say last year is a bit of adjustment period without. Excuse me, the chips are catching up to me.
Yeah.
Last year was the first year without any Stanleys. DeJong graduated, I think, 2 years ago. His
Yeah.
cousin Daryl or Darrell, one of those, I think it's Daryl. He
Yeah.
transferred out like maybe 2 3 weeks before the season. Ended up playing
Right.
at Lancaster. Or he ended up at Birmingham for like a week and then made the move to Lancaster. But yeah, last year was an adjustment, just adjusting with life without the Stanleys. Now this year they're starting to put things together, and they do have athletes. Miles Cross is a junior. I really like him. He's one of their running backs.
Yeah, I can't forget they have Dean Rosales, their running back, and he's got like 1,500 yards this season. So
Yeah, yeah. And then like also I want to shout out their safety. I believe his name is Evan. Plange, I think Plange. He's their safety. He plays in the secondary. He's a good guy. He's 6'2", 6'3", lengthy. He's a good skill guy on a team that it's mainly known for running the ball. So
yeah,
shout out to them. But yeah, I still stand with my prediction. I think Marquez will squeeze by, but this is definitely a slugfest. If you want to see hard hits, defense, gritty, tough, make your way
yeah,
to Huntington Park, and we'll go watch Marquez host Granada Hills.
yeah. And shout out to Matthew Ferris, man. He's got 90 tackles on the season this year, man. Kids over there sticking his nose in
Dog.
everything. Yeah. Who we got next?
There.
Who's up next? Is
All right.
it Dorsey ECR or Gardena Hamilton?
It is the 6-11 seed. So the 6 seed is El Camino Real. 11 seed is Dorsey. I will go a little overview with it.
All right.
Bit of a negative one, to be honest, with Dorsey. We both had Dorsey in the open division. I was a little higher. I was a little higher than you were. I mean, they were bringing in guys. They had Elijah McDaniel transferring from Warren. A Southern Section team at quarterback. I really expected a lot more out of this Dorsey team. And I know their best lineman, his name is LaShawn Jackson. He was at Cathedral. He ended up transferring back. So he's played the whole season with Dorsey. But yeah, I don't know. They lost against King Drew. They didn't put up much of a fight against Carson. They lost to Bakersfield. They just lost a
Yeah.
lot of games. So I was a bit disappointed. Obviously being in D1 is not a disappointment per se, but when you had Dorsey, or when I had Dorsey at one point as high as the 5th seed in the open division, and now they're 11th seed. Yeah, there's definitely some growing pains. Elijah McDaniel is he's a sophomore at quarterback, so he still has time to grow. They brought in a couple of class of 28, so a lot of them are sophomores. But yeah, 11 seed in D1, bit of a down year. Hopefully, with Deuce Johnson being a senior next year, they could really lock things down and be a well-oiled machine, ready to take on any open division. But yeah, and then we have Elko. We talked about Elko briefly. I forget which episode, but I had mentioned that they were a very good West Valley League team,
Mm-hmm.
San Fernando Valley team that used to have a lot of talent, competing with the Birminghams, competing with Alamani's, Sierra Canyons before Sierra Canyon became like the number one team in
Yeah.
California, according to the rankings or whatever. But yeah, I mean they're up to the 6th seed, and I'm not surprised. There's athletes in that area. It's a good school. A lot of kids do want to go to that school, not just for sports, just in general. I heard it was a good academic school, so I'm not surprised that Elko's back in D1, towards the top, because 6th seed is not low. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of a matchup, to be quite frank, I haven't seen much film on either of these teams. I would say I have seen more film on Dorsey, just because I was trying to catch up on some film, some guys like a Makai McCluster,
Right.
Elijah McDaniel, their quarterback. But yeah, Woodland Hills has been doing their thing. Not Woodland Hills, sorry, El Camino, and they played a pretty good schedule. They scheduled Grace Bethlehem, Southern Section team. They scheduled Heritage Christian. They scheduled Palisades. Um, so yeah, prediction. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna go up and I'm gonna say El Camino. They're the 6th seed for a reason. I don't really have any statistical analysis to back that up, other than they're just a higher seed. Dorsey
Yeah.
looks like they haven't been able to click all year, so I'll take the El Camino Real Royals.
I'm gonna piggyback on just the Elko part. Like we know what Dorsey has. Elko's kind of an underrated team. Not really talked about. They have a running back by committee. Like they have two running backs with over 600 yards, and then another running back with 450. T Campbell, who's a senior, is 452. R. Burnden with 607, and then S. Bogax. I think it's Bogacz is a senior as well.
Yeah, it's
Um,
Shane. I think Shane
and
is his first name.
yeah, Shane. Okay, Shane's got 684 yards. So like it's gonna be it's Shane. So they're gonna be a running back by committee, man. Like they're gonna rely heavily on their running game. Expect Dorsey to try to stop it, and if they pull this off, it's gonna be because they were able to establish the running game and just run the ball, man. Their quarterback can throw. He's got about 600 yards, almost 700 passing yards. So like they're a good offense. Like not downplaying them, but like I said, like you said, they're not really talked about. They're a 6 seed. They're a quiet 6 seed, so can't sleep on them.
Hmm. Yeah, and also my last little points on Elko. This is their first winning season this decade. I know in 2021 they won a city title. I believe it was the D2 city title, but they
Mhm.
ended up 6-8. So this is their first season with a positive record. Let me just make sure. Yeah,
Oh,
6-4.
Birmingham
So
boat
we
race.
yeah. So even if
Birmingham
they
and Palisades
lose, yeah,
boat
even if
racing.
they lose, they'll still end up with a positive ranking. And yeah, I know the former head coach at Chatsworth, Marvin Street, is not the JV head coach. So
Yeah.
El Camino is slowly starting to turn things around. Hopefully, they figured out some administrative stuff because, from what I've heard, at least in the past 2 3 years, even in the last year, some administrative stuff was holding the football program back. And I know they've
Okay.
had this battle with the field. They can't use it, they can use it. It's meltings, this, that, and the third. So don't
Yeah.
sleep on El Camino Real. They are out there. They're literally. It says it's in Woodland Hills. Really, it's in West Hills. West Hills is the last city before leaving LA County, so they're basically Ventura County school.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really out there. They're quiet. They're kind of they'll have it running up there. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
I don't want to go
Yeah.
10 minutes on the El Camino Real
Yeah.
because we still have a lot of
I,
matches to get through.
so I said they got boat raced by Palisades. They didn't. They lost 38-18, but they did get boat raced by Birmingham. So let me just make that clear.
And that's nothing to be ashamed of. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
not.
I got Elko. We'll see. That's a really exciting matchup. The more I think about it, Dorsey Elko. So excited to see that. And next up, we have the 7 versus the 8 seed. 7 seed is Gardena, another Marine League team, the second Marine League team in Division One, and taking on who else than Hamilton High School,
In
the team that I've
Thaddeus
raved
Borough, I
about.
trust. In Thaddeus Borough,
Thaddeus,
I
bro.
trust. So
Yeah.
I gave another giveaway. Like Gardina's always been a great team, man. Marine League team. They've always been able to establish a running game and be pretty dominant in that area. Um, I'm going Cinderella, man. I'm going. Give me Thaddeus Burrow. Give me the freshman. Give me that coaching staff. Uh, I I could be wrong, but you know what? I'm okay if I'm wrong on this one. Like
Mhm.
I shout out to Hamilton over there. They're doing a great job. Gardina's always consistent, so that's kind of just my spiel on that. Uh, that's where I'm going with that. That's all I got to say about that. And Thaddeus Burrow, I trust.
Yeah, this matchup is, I think, pretty hard to predict. Gardena is 3-6, obviously not the best record. They did schedule a King Drew, scheduled Crespi. They lost to Compton Dominguez actually, and they Santa Monica they lost to as well. But the one matchup that I'm kind of using as a tell because, quite frankly, I haven't watched any film on any Gardena game. They
Yeah.
beat Narbonne, which, keep in mind, is a sanctioned Narbonne with, I can't imagine, more than 22, 23 players on that roster.
Hmm.
48-26. Complete blowout? No. I'm kind of using that game to kind of reference to see really how good they are. And I know, like, I'm not downplaying Gardena. They have athletes. Kevin Martinez transferred in from Lusinger. Number 4, I'm not Akia. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Last name Brown, number 4, Clavonta Jackson. There's players, and they also have like the biggest dude in the city section, Gabriel Gutierrez, who plays tackle for them. This guy's like 6'8", 6'9". So that's something, you know. But yeah, a bit of a expected year. Monty Gilbert was the head coach last year. He resigned for whatever reason, and now they have Terrence Williams who's taking over, and he's slowly building things back. 3-6, they finished 2-2 in the Marine League. Um, maybe should have won some more games. They beat Southeast, a Eastern League team that you're familiar with, 50-0. So that's a pretty tough time, pretty tough sign. Yeah, Gardina's interesting because they have athletes. How they play, their style, how tough they are, not sure. And then we have Hamilton, the team that I was putting in the Open Division. They didn't make the Open Division.
They sniffed it
Fair.
there. They were there for a little bit. They were
They
there
were
for a little
there.
bit.
They were there for a week. Yeah, they were there for a week and a half.
They had a cup of coffee.
For a cup of coffee, perfect. That's yeah. They were there for a cup of coffee. Lost to University. Lost to Westchester. Um, I think I'm gonna go with this one is tough. It's really tough, but I think I'm gonna go with. I gotta double down. Never afraid to double down. I'm gonna go with Thaddeus, bro. For you, the number two quarterback. For me, the number one. I know he's still a freshman, not even done with his freshman year, but you can see it, what he's doing with the pieces that he has. And Asante is going to continue to attract pieces, 2, 3 guys. He's smart. He's not no money man who's going to bring in 20 guys. Um, you know, he'll have it running, man. He'll have it running. I got Hamilton squeezing by. But yeah, shout out to Asante. Shout out to Butler. The guy you're referencing is Micah Butler's dad. So Michael Butler
Yeah,
is the guy who's always quote
gotcha.
tweeting us. So shout out to you, Michael. I had a chance to talk with him at the Loyola game. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if it's because maybe the team doesn't have huddle, that there's no stats on Max Preps, because I know if you have huddle, it automatically imports to Max Preps. This is my little spiel, and this is more to the administrations of the teams in LAUSD. If your football team does not have huddle and you are an administrator, I highly suggest that you make sure your team can utilize that resource, not only so they're able to watch film other than they may have other ways to watch it, but huddle is something that you can send to colleges. Us as reporters, we get stats, we talk about your kids, we give them that outlet as well. It would be great to highlight some of these young men that we don't have stats for. So, my cry to administration, LAUSD, please find out if your team has huddle. If they don't have huddle, please purchase it for them so we can get these boys a recognition and we can get them out to the next level, because that seems to be something that hinders a lot of kids, is that they don't have those resources. So that's my spiel on that right now. All right, let's get back to the action. My bad.
Yeah, and that was it. Smallest shout out, and then we'll head up to the last match with D1. Christian Leslie of Hamilton broke the single season reception record for LA City. I don't know
Ooh,
how many,
nice.
but he broke the record. And I'm not surprised. With the one game that I did see, he was a heavy part of the game plan when it comes to the attack. Running back, they motioned him out a lot of times into the flat. Shout out to him, man. Thaddeus, bro, he also broke a record. I'm trying to pull up the tweets from our guy. Tarek, he broke the single season city section completion record with 278. And then he broke that during the overtime win against Venice. So he went 34 for 47 against Venice for almost 500 yards, 448 yards. So,
So, damn, that
yeah,
is making
and yeah, yeah. And I saw the, because Asante, this guy's such a promoter, man. He posted the Instagram reel of his Thaddeus Rose game winning or game tying touchdown like 4 times. So I saw it. He just like absolutely chucks this guy. I mean, he's like 6'5". Of course he is.
it is
Just
huge, bro.
just lunges into the end zone and chucks like 3 Venice players while taking them all into the end zone to tie
And
the game.
his body type, like his body frame, reminds me of Kevin Hawkins. Like Kevin is a big boy. That boy,
Yeah, Kevin
that
Hawkins of
that that's a
Birmingham.
solid
Yeah,
boy right there. That Kevin Hawkins is a man. That is
yeah.
Burrow. Remind like his frame. I'm just like, gee, 6'5". Damn.
Yeah, so this is a conversation for when the season ends,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Asante will have it run it up. Let's go to the last matchup of Division One, the 8th versus 9th seed. 8th seed Franklin will be hosting 9th seed Westchester. So shout out to
Westchester was
Westchester
quiet
D1.
this year, bro. Westchester was very quiet this year.
Hmm. They were. They were just they were taking their lumps. I know they scheduled I think a Culver City, and obviously they it wasn't too competitive, but yeah, they were 5-5. They lost to Arleta and North. It wasn't Culver City. That was King Drew. North High School in Torrance, who played Carson, a good Southern Section
Yeah, they
team.
lost 52-0.
Yeah. They went 0-2, and then they got the forfeit win against Dimely. So it's week 3. They're really 0-2 because Dimely got the forfeit, or they got the forfeit win against Dimely. So I'm not sure how good this team is. And then boom, September 12th, they play Southeast, and they put up damn near 70 against them. I'm like, oh, okay,
But this
they're
is my
for
only
real.
knock on it. But this is my only rebuttal. Like you played the number there. Hold on, let me go down. Arleta is like mid pack. What are they? Arleta is like the 3-6er, I think, in D2, and they lost to Arleta by 2. Like,
Mhm. Week 0.
yeah, like it was very quiet year for Westchester. Like, just I don't know, man. Like, this is
Yeah,
gonna
it
be a good
was.
game.
It's Cam Graham's first year at Westchester. It's gonna take time for him to get adjusted, to bring in guys, to get his coaching staff, to get um his coaching principles down at Westchester. But I mean, they got athletes. They're in a good
Yeah,
area per se, where athletes will come in or just attend the school, not even transfer, and just attend the school. I know Jaden Hightower, he's their quarterback. Justin Keys, a running back, who Coach Paul and I, we like targeted him, try to get him on the show.
yeah,
So they got athletes there, man. Don't sleep
yeah.
on Westchester. I thought they were going to be a bit lower going into the season. Just wasn't sure. A lot of uncertainty, and when there's uncertainty when we're talking about high school football, I kind of lean towards I lower my expectations. But yeah, I
Right.
mean they got 2 guys on the Max Preps roster listed as freshmen, and I'm seeing 6'3", 6'4",
Yeah.
258, 283. I know the weights are a little inflated and the heights are a little inflated, but even that 6'2" and 6'3", if you take 1 inch off, I mean, I don't know how good Noah Whitaker and Denabi Hobinson Davis are, but hey, they passed the eye test with that size.
Hey, talking about eye tests, Jaden Steele, Albert Cardenas from
Yeah,
Franklin. That passes the eye test. That
yeah, yeah,
connection is
yeah.
something special. I think they are. They had a great year, man. Like 7-3, 3-1 in the league. 2,500 yards for Cardenas, 1,100, 1,200 yards, we'll say for Steele. Um, these kids, this Franklin team is they can make some noise, bro. They have shout out to the coaching staff over there because they definitely put their stamp on this season and said we're here to play and we're here to make some noise, and they made some noise, man. So this to me, I think a quiet Westchester versus a very loud Franklin team, and I'm not saying them being loud as like a staff or anything like that. I'm saying like the improvement, like and them just being overall like on everybody's radar from the very beginning. Um, like this is going to be a great matchup for them.
And that concludes Division One. We've been here for an hour 15. We'll go a little faster, but we're not gonna, just skip over D2, D3 because this is where all the hardworking kids are, the neighborhood kids are. The the
I'll
the
give predictions in D2 and D3.
There we go, there we go. All
Yeah,
right, so
not yeah. We'll just leave it at that.
I got you. So we'll start off first seed versus 16 seed in Division Two. We got Chatsworth taking on Legacy, a team that Coach Paul is familiar with.
Chatsworth, isn't it Cleveland?
Oh yeah, I'm blanking. Sorry, Cleveland. Yes, Cleveland number 1 seed. 16th seed is Legacy, a Eastern League
Shout
team
out to
making
Coach
D2.
Guzman, my boy over
Guzman,
there
yeah,
at Cleveland. Got the number 1 seed. I'm so happy for him, man.
yeah,
He's gonna be on the show. He's gonna be on the show this year, the season 2
for sure.
when we get it rolling. So man, I have Cleveland beating Legacy. Legacy's
Yeah,
got
me
some
too.
athletes. Like they got some boys. Jason Rodriguez, man. like their running back. I don't know if he's out, but he had them up there. Um, bro, their linebacker James Gomez. I coached him in Pop Warner. And the kid, I found out he had a motor, man, and I just taught like I told him, look, when your guard goes away or wherever, stick your nose in, man. The kid's number 3 in tackles in the city, man. That shout out to James Gomez, man. Like I'm super proud of you, kid. Your dad's really proud of you. Like yeah, I know you really worked hard. There's other athletes at that school that have been busting their ass. I just think Cleveland's going to be a little too much to handle for Legacy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess you can say not up to standards with what Cleveland has done in the past in terms
Right,
of playoff seeding because they've been a consistent D1 team for a few
right,
years. But the way I think, hey, if you're going to drop down one division, you better win it. Cleveland's the 1 seed for a reason. They're a borderline D1 team. So I
yeah,
see them as the favorites to win this. And if they do, add a city title to Coach Guzman's to his resume and continue to
yeah.
keep growing and go back to D1, fight for open like you were last year. Yeah, so I do like Cleveland, but shout out to Legacy as Coach Paul mentioned.
So they have so Cleveland. Shout out to you guys. Like I'm not trying. So you have uh Odie Bunmi, their running back. Sorry, I'll ask Coach Guzman how to pronounce your name when we have you on the show. We'll figure out how to pronounce your name. The kid's got like 1,200 rushing yards, man. So they're gonna rely really heavy. Like if Legacy cannot stop this running game, it's gonna get very ugly very quick. But I know Coach. I know the coaches over at Legacy are prepping. Um, but I think it may be a little too much for him, man. And it sucks because I know they wanted to have a nice run again, and I think they ran into somebody too soon. They ran into a monster too soon. Like even Julio Avalos, man, their quarterback over at Cleveland, like that kid is nice, dude. So this overall 2-8, I don't think it 2-8 isn't a normal 2-8. Like this isn't what we're used to seeing at Cleveland. So overall, I got Cleveland beating Legacy though.
Yeah, the seedings are the seedings. Next matchup, second seed, San Fernando taking on another Eastern League team, the 15 seed Southeast. What do you have?
If Squiddy Johnson is not playing, Southeast loses. Period. I just watched that team. They have athletes, like they have some boys, but it's not enough. It's not enough. You need like they had their who was it that you texted me about?
Eddie Bryant, number 2.
Eddie Bryant was playing quarterback for him.
Yeah, he's a receiver, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. So I'm not gonna say that. So if Squiddy Johnson is not playing quarterback, this team does not. I'm sorry, Southeast doesn't have a fighting chance, and
Mhm.
that's nothing against EB or Seven because Seven was trying to do his thing out there. He's only a freshman. Seven Hill, and Anthony Lopez, their middle linebacker, like they were busting their ass and just without Squiddy, this team's not the same.
Yeah, a bit of a down year. Life without Edward Rivera has been tough.
Life without
Um,
Edward Rivera has been really hard.
yeah, for Southeast, Edward Rivera was a 3-star running back, Sac State commit, made the move over to Compton. But yeah, San Fernando, they got some guys. They're the number 2 seed. Julian Sarzo, he can do numbers in Division 2. Their quarterback he transferred in from
Oh yeah,
Heritage Christian. Andrew Newchurch. There's a video that has maybe like a couple hundred, not a couple hundred, a couple thousand views on Instagram of Andrew Newchurch straight hurdling over a Silmar defender, like cleared him, and like everyone's like, "Where's the flag? Where's the flag? You can't hurdle." And I'm just thinking about like, wow, what an athletic play. So they got
bro,
athletes.
haters, right? Like, yes, it is a flag in high school football to hurdle, but if one of these kids hurdles somebody and there's no flag, let it be.
Yeah, and he cleared him. He cleared him. So yeah, they got athletes. I got San Fernando winning this one. They 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 started the year strong. they were like 5-1, 4-1, and they scheduled a Bishop Alamany. So obviously they lost 34-6, but they're not scared to play a tough team. And they
Yeah.
only lost to Kennedy, who is all the way in the open division, 2 divisions
Yeah.
up, by 8, 1-score game. So this team is a lot tougher than some people might think. And I would say I got San Fernando winning this game quite comfortably.
Yeah.
But yeah, Southeast, like you mentioned, down year, but they still have guys. Seven Hill, freshman, will be a big thing. Eddie Bryant Jr., when he's not forced to play quarterback, is definitely one of the top receivers in the LA City section.
Yeah.
Squiddy Johnson, their quarterback, he makes things happen. And if he's out, it'll be very hard for Southeast to pull something off.
Yeah.
All right,
We
next
got next.
matchup is the third straight Eastern League team, Roosevelt versus Chatsworth. Roosevelt is the third seed, and they will host Chatsworth, who's the 14th seed.
Ooh. I'm not. Oh man. No comment. I'm not talking about this game.
No comment. All right, no comment from Coach Paul.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Honestly,
Give yours and then I'll give mine.
I haven't watched much. I'm honestly going to trust your word, Coach Paul. Whatever you have to say, who you think the winner is will be my winner.
So we all know I'm still a little bitter about last year. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm over it. Nah,
You so
this should be a
sure.
good game. But both teams, both teams, in my honest opinion, they're they're where they need to be. This is going to be a good game, man. Like Roosevelt is going to run the ball. If you can't stop the run, you're going to lose the game. Simple as that. Chatsworth last year they ran the ball a lot. They passed here and there. I don't know what. Let me look. I haven't really followed them this year. But let's take a look at some of what they got going on because I really don't think that this is going to be like, oh, there's no stats. So, um, Roosevelt, if you can stop, if Chatsworth can stop the double wing, then they got a chance. If not, they're going to get ran all over. That it's that simple.
There we go. There's my winner. Roosevelt, if they stop the run, Chatsworth has a big chance. That's my
Yep.
prediction. All
Who we got
right. For our
next?
next matchup, it'll be the fourth seed, which is Fairfax. Not Taft for Coach Paul, Fairfax. And they will host the 13 seed Panorama for this game. Honestly, like I'm leaning towards Panorama. A bit of an upset. The 13 seed taking it over against Fairfax. I think Panorama's just tough. They won D3 last year. I know their players want more, and they ended the season losing 4 in a row. So I know these guys have a sour taste in their mouth. They lost to Van Nuys 1 score. They let the Silmar game slip away. But they played El Camino, who's D1, 6 seed, and they only lost by 13. So they have the ability to play these teams tough. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to throw an upset out there. I got Panorama taking this one.
I got Panorama too. Like yeah, I'm just. We're gonna leave it at that. I got Panorama.
Next
Yeah.
up, we got 5th seed University versus 12th seed George Washington Prep. Now, for me, for our prediction show, or season preview rather, I had University as a D2 contender. I'm going to stick by my word. I think some of the athletes on this University team are far superior to some of the other athletes in D2. I'm not overhyping them. They just have some really good athletes. Kamari Jones is a 3-star. A lot of young guys. Their quarterback, who I'm blanking on. I know he was out with a long-term injury and he came back this year, and they're making things happen. They upset Hamilton. They played in the Western League, tough ass team. So I got Coach Robinson and his university team taking it over Washington Prep.
Right there with you. I don't know enough about either one of these teams. Well, I know we know about University, but I don't know enough about George Washington Prep. Other than that, they were in the finals against Jordan 2 years ago, right? When Jordan won it. When Jordan won D3.
Yeah, like two,
George
three, yeah,
Washington.
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know enough about George Washington Prep to make a comment. Both teams seem like they have it going together, but I'm gonna roll with you. I got University.
So our next matchup is the 6th seed versus the 11th seed. 6th seed is Marshall. 11th seed is Bernstein. What do you have on this game?
Ooh. Marshall, baby. The Cinderella comeback story. They came out of nowhere. I'm sorry. Last year, they Jesus Christ, right? To this year, man, shout out to that coaching staff. Uh, I want to give a shout out to their quarterback, man. That young man is something special. They have a guy there, and when we watched him throw in the you came in when we watched him
Yeah,
throw at
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
Eagle Rock
Cadet,
thing, man.
Nathaniel Cadet. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude, kid, they got something there, man. It's a couple more pieces, and they got to win a couple more games in their league, and you got a team, man. Bernstein, I don't know how well they did this year. They weren't really on our radar. Surprisingly, they weren't on our radar this year. But with that being said, it's a scrappy football team. We played them last year in the playoffs. Very scrappy football team. Well coached. So I think if Marshall does what they're supposed to do, I got Marshall winning that one. But Bernstein was 5-0, 8-2 overall, man. So, like I said,
Hmm.
this could be. It could go either way. It could go either way, but like me being a fan of the Cinderella, I got Marshall.
You got Marshall. I got Marshall too. They started off like what 6-0, 7-0, and then obviously they ran into Eagle Rock and Franklin, etc., etc. But one matchup that caught my eye was a Bernstein matchup. Who, like you said, they finished 8-2. They finished the 11th seed, right?
Yeah.
University was 6 seeds higher, so University is the 5th seed in D1 Division Two. Sorry, they lost 38-8 against this University team.
Okay.
It kind of just shows how big the gap is between 5th seed to 11th seed. So for that reason, I'm gonna take Marshall. They play tough teams. They played at Eagle Rock. Yes, I know Bernstein finished first in the Central League, but to be quite frank, the Central League is one of the lower tier leagues in the LA City section. But kudos to them; they handled business. They went 5-0, league champs. You know, you can't take anything can't take anything away from that. But yeah, I think their 8-2 season is something good to build on. But I think Marshall will come out on top.
Now, the two losses that they have, like you said, University was 38-8, but didn't we see? Weren't we talking about somebody else played Ganesha and they beat them, right? The team.
Yeah, I forgot who, but somebody
Yeah,
beat
yeah,
Ganesha.
yeah. But Ganesha beat them 70-6.
Hmm.
So, like the two losses they had were pretty bad, but this team could score points, man. So
Yeah, it
if
was Lincoln, by the way.
yeah, okay, there you go, Lincoln. So it's it's very telling. Like when we have a lot of our schools in the inner city, like when they're in the same thing, they're in the same league, right?
Hmm.
It's one of those things you just gotta. It's any given Friday, so we'll see what happens.
Next up, we have a team you're familiar with, Eastern League team, a team you were on the staff on at one point
Hmm.
in time. The 7th seed, Huntington Park Spartans. Is that your guys' mascot? Spartans
Yeah, they were the
or
Spartans.
Gladiators? Yes, the
Oh, the Spartans.
Huntington Park Spartans. 7th seed will
Yes,
be hosting the 10th seed Arleta. Give us your overview on HP.
bro. Arleta can't get out of D2 or what? Like, geez, Louise. It's one of these things. Like, if they make a run in this division, I wouldn't be surprised. But I honestly don't think they're getting past HP. Like HP, HP is very underrated. They're very young. They got they have seniors on their team. Um, Obviously, this season didn't go the way they expected. Um, but playoffs are different, man. And I know Coach Sosa. Coach Jimenez and the boys over there, they're I think they're gonna have them mentally ready to go. Like if they lose, it's because the kids just the moment was too big for the kids, and it's because they're young and like they're older athletes like Daniel Vasquez, their quarterback. Uh, he's got to really be the leader of that team to lead them in this playoffs if they want to go anywhere. And that's kind of how I'm going to leave it. But man, Arlita D2, yay!
I have, yeah, I know, and for reference, this is Arlita's fourth year in a row being in Division Two. They just can't get over the hump. They had to lose semifinals in the quarter. So I actually have Arlita winning this game. Jose Rosas is a good running back. They beat Westchester. I know it's week 0. Westchester was probably getting some things acclimated. Cam Graham's first game. They beat Westchester, who was in Division One. But I don't know. Something tells me Arlita's gritty. They blew out their last two opponents. You know, they scored almost 90 points in their last two games, giving up only one touchdown. Um, yeah, kind of just for some parity. You know, I don't want this whole show being I agree with you, you agree with me. Give me Arlita. You know, 7-3, good record. They lost out on the league title, finished second. They were lost by 4 against North Hollywood. I got Arlita.
All right, well there you have it. Let's move on to
There
the
we
next
go.
one.
So the last matchup in Division Two is a team that I just mentioned because our leader lost to them. The 9th seed North Hollywood Huskies, I believe, is going to take on 8th seed Sylmar. So that'll be a good matchup. 8-9 seed, the tightest game as you can get. This is supposed to be the most even game, you know? Um,
Yeah,
I don't know much about either team, to be quite honest. I know North Hollywood is a bit of a down year. Not necessarily a down year, a coming back to earth year, because last year
yeah,
they were, 10-0 heading into playoffs. They made it to the semifinals or quarterfinals in D1, but they graduated all of their running back core, I believe. So this is kind of a come back to earth type of year. And if 6-4 is a comeback, oh no, this is Silmar. Sorry, I'm trying to search up their record because I don't want to, speak on
Silmar is
something
six
that isn't
four,
true.
3-3 in league.
Yeah, North Hollywood. Okay, so if a comeback to earth, type of year is a 7-3 for North Hollywood in a good spot in Division Two, you can't complain, And they only lost to 11 against Roosevelt, who we spoke about not too long ago. So it's kind of a flip a coin. I'm just gonna go North Hollywood. I don't really have much statistical analysis or any players that are really on Twitter that I have a chance to check out, but I'll go with North Hollywood for this one.
I'm gonna go Silmar, and I'm going Silmar because of Tim Tanner Jr., their quarterback, throwing
There
for
you
two
go.
grand, throwing for 2,000 yards. Kid's got a cannon, bro. So if Silmar wins this game, it's because he put the team on their back and he led them, man. They have some other good players. Hold on, where's it at? Yeah, like Tanner does. Tanner does a lot of the work. Like he 2,000 yards rushing. He's got 600 yards, 2,000 yards passing, 600 yards rushing. Um, kid's a stud. So it can't be just one guy. So hopefully, he is the leader of the team. Hopefully, his team's able to back him up and they're able to get a win.
There you go. That's Division Two for LA City section. Last up D3. We can not skim through it, but go a little faster.
Yeah, yeah,
Santee, first seed, will be taking on Locke. I do have Santee. They actually played Rio Hondo Prep on the 30th.
yeah.
Maybe a team dropped out of their league or whatever, but they played and they scored 17. Wasn't a donut for them, so that's something positive. But yeah, 1 seed, 16 seed, especially in D3. I'm gonna trust the rankings. I'm gonna go with Santee.
Santee.
Yeah, and also quick shout out Darnell Miller, Santee star guy, their running back. He's making noise. Shout out to him.
Yep.
Our next
Next.
matchup is some a game I actually want to attend because I did make a promise to the 15th seed, which was LA High, to Coach Jackson, that I'm going to attend one of their games.
Yeah.
So I'm in contact. Hopefully, I could be out there on the sideline. help just supporting the LA Romans, man, because Coach Jackson, what a guy. But yeah, second seed versus 15th seed. It'll be Hawkins down there in LA. Number 2 seed will be hosting LA High.
These are both our
Um,
guys. These are
our
both our
guys.
guys.
This is a on the map matchup, first of its
Yeah.
kind, first and hopefully not the last. Yeah, we had Coach Coltress on from Hawkins earlier this year. We also had Coach Jackson, the head coach at LA High, early this year. Really, whoever wins, I support. This is the first matchup we can say that whoever wins, we're
Yeah.
happy.
Whoever wins this matchup, kudos, man. I'm just proud of both. I'm proud of both of them. I'm glad they both have made it. Uh, Hawkins, man, coach is over there busting his butt. He got him to the 2 seed. Uh, LA High, they're in the playoffs, man. Like I know it may not be the ranking that he wants, but he's there. So like you said, I support both coaches. I'm good with whoever. I just want it to be a great game for both coaches and for their boys.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Next matchup, we got Wilson from Northern League at the 3rd seed. We'll be taking on 14 seed Rancho Dominguez down there in Long Beach. For me, don't know much about them. I'm just gonna go Wilson. I know they almost put 70 on Bosco Tech. I think they did put 70 on Bosco Tech. So, yeah, that's what I got.
All right. So this has been such a weird season for Wilson. Um, I got Wilson. I got Wilson winning. And I want to give a shout out to their running back Adrian Anaya. The kid's got a high motor. He works hard. It's his senior year, so I know this isn't where they want to be. This wasn't hell. They were in D2 last year, and they gave us a run for our money, man. Like it was a great game. So I know this isn't what they're used to, but they have a chance. They're in the playoffs, so then season isn't what it wasn't what it should have been. It's okay. You got another shot at it. Go make a run. So shout out to them.
Yeah, that's what I got. Quick shout out on Rancho Dominguez's side. They got Elvin Afa. I believe is how you pronounce his last name. He's the guy who played at was at J Sarah. Yeah, the one in the Trinity League. He transferred over. So he's a dog. I know, 2-8 isn't the best record for Rancho Dominguez, but he's a dog, so I know for sure he'll do his thing and he'll handle his business. But yeah, shout out to you, Elvin. So our
But
next
yeah,
matchup is the 14th seed taking on the 3rd seed. We got Jefferson, who's the 4th seed, and they'll host Canoga Park. This one, don't know much to be honest. I know Canoga Park has been struggling recently. They didn't make the playoffs last year, so improvement because now they're in the playoffs and they're not, the 16th, 15th seed. And then we have Jefferson, who I know they beat Fremont, who's also in D3, and we'll talk about the matchup a little later. But yeah, I got Jefferson.
I got Jefferson too, and we can go to the next one.
Alrighty. Next matchup is Contreras versus Sun Valley Poly. This one is interesting because I don't know anything about him either. It's hard. I'm not I'm not really a statistician guy. I'm not too much into diving deep into max preps. Twitter is my max preps. That's where I will, if a guy tags me in a huddle, I'll watch it. Even if it's the 18th time they tag me, I'll watch it. I don't know much about them. They're
The
just not
18th
on
time.
there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I get tagged a lot, but I appreciate it, I'll endorse it forever. But yeah, I don't know much. I'm just gonna go Poly because it's near my area. I know Contreras is in LA. I'm pretty sure downtown near that
Yeah,
area.
it's by my old job, the Beaudry office. It's right
There
behind
you
it.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. You
All
got
right.
to be a
So
homer and choose Contreras.
I am going to choose Contreras, but
There you
not
go.
because of that. But it's because they're 4-1. They went 4-1 in league. They lost to Bernstein. So we know where Bernstein's at, right? So
Yeah.
I think this is a great opportunity for Contreras to make some noise. Um, like we don't know a lot about these teams. They're not really like they're not flashy. They're not like these kids aren't household names, but what they are doing over there is something special. And I want to give a shout out to their running back, Randy Jones, man. The kid's doing his thing. And he's got his team in a good spot in the playoffs. So we shall see what he's able to do. His current campaign, he's got 881 yards on 138
Wow.
carries. So the
Wow.
kid's doing his thing, man. So I got Contreras.
There you go. Next matchup, 6 seed Manual Arts hosting 11 seed Chavez. I'm gonna take Chavez
Nope.
because yeah, because Manual Arts they started out 3-0 or 0-3. They lost to Locke, and where's Locke? 16 seed. They lost to Fremont. Fremont's actually ranked below Manual Arts. Um, so yeah, other than that, shout out to Manual Arts though. They're slowly building. They're keeping the program afloat.
You picked who?
Chavez.
I'll go Manual Arts just for the sake of argument.
Hey, it is a purple versus purple matchup, so
That's cool.
your your favorite color is purple. You should go to this game. Next matchup we have Roybal, which is in Hollywood, hosting. Roybal's the 7th seed, by the way, and they're gonna host Verdugo Hills, who's the 10th seed.
Wasn't Verdugo Hills just in the championship last year? Oh no, the set like they made a run, right? Didn't they make a run last year?
um, I know they finished in D3. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Let me check.
I think it was last year. I think they let's see, 25, 24, 25. 24, 25. They were
Yes, they lost to the eventual champion in D2, Chatsworth.
no, we lost to Chatsworth. Oh yeah, they did. Wait, last year? That's 20. Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
They lost in the second round.
Oh, that's right. Oh man. They okay, so they dropped a division. That is not a good sign. So, with that being said, I got Robo.
Yeah, Roybal, they finished the season losing their last two league games. They lost to Vasquez. They lost to Van Nuys, who's in D1 by a couple touchdowns. They're in Hollywood. Weird area to try to attract talent for a high school football program, to be honest. Um, Yeah, I got Roybal. I think, they're hungry. And also, this is a rematch. These two played each other last year in non-league, the first game, and Verdugo Hills lost to Roybal. I know Verdugo Hills is probably going to want some revenge. Roybal is going to still want bragging rights.
Yeah.
I got Roybal.
All right.
Alrighty. For the 8th and 9th seed, the final matchup of our preview show. I don't know how long we've been going. It's a team that you
Hour
are.
and 42 minutes.
There we go. It's a team that you're kind of familiar because um, Coach Cisco coached at Maces. I'm sure he has stories of Maces. It's the 8 seed versus 9 seed. 8 seed Maces is hosting 9 seed Fremont. So this is an interesting matchup because and I know you have maybe a little more than I do when it comes to knowledge on Maces, but Fremont is obviously they have the best player in Division 3, USC commit 3-star Andrew Williams. Um, I did have Fremont as a contender for Division 3. They're in Division 3, as I did with University. I'm gonna stick to my prediction. I do have Fremont winning this. I think you let Andrew Williams have his 3, 4, 5 plays of dominance. That can really dictate the whole thing. So yeah, Fremont's their league. They play in the Coliseum League. They faced consistent teams that are not D3 level. Crenshaw, Dorsey, King Drew. So now when you see a King Drew, when you see a Crenshaw, to be quite frank, you're not gonna be as scared as these teams.
Yeah.
So that'll be huge for their confidence. Coach Benson, he knows how to win D3 titles because he won one with LA Jordan not too long ago. So I got that. You got Andrew Williams, a player of that caliber in D3. That's what I'm taking. Fremont.
So I have Locke. I mean Fremont, sorry. I was reading the top of the list. So I have Fremont as well. But it's because of what you said. Like they just played stiffer competition for league. But Maces does have Dominic Angulo, and that kid is a baller. So I know it's going to take a lot for Maces to pull this off, even though like they're evenly ranked, right? So this should be. I think this is going to be the game of the week for D3, like that matchup. Like I'm excited to see what both teams are able to produce as far as like competitive playoff football. Um, and it's going to be it's going to be a testament to what these coaches have put into these programs because last year Maces didn't make the playoffs, and if I'm not mistaken, uh, Fremont didn't either, right?
Fremont,
Or
they
did they
made
make
it. They were D3, but they were a lower seed.
Okay, so they made it last year, so they're back. You know, okay, so now what can we do with it? So
Mm.
shout out to the coach. He tags us in everything. I love the fact that he tags us in everything. I'm excited for you, coach. I'm excited for both staffs, but I do have Fremont taking this one.
Yeah, and also this is probably something I should have mentioned to begin this overview. These teams played 2 weeks ago. Fremont won 30-15. Um, I don't see why a team can't win twice. Even though I know you have a little phrase that says it's hard to beat a team twice, but I think Fremont could pull it
Sometimes you
off.
just whoop the team's ass twice. It is what it is.
Yeah, well, it was a two-score game, so it wasn't an ass whooping. It was close, so
Yeah,
maybe a few more things go Maywood Macy's way, and it's a completely different story. And Macy's is in a quarterfinal matchup.
yeah. Well, it's been fun, buddy. Hour and 45 minutes.
Yes, sir.
To everybody that stayed and watched the whole episode, we appreciate you guys. We will see you championship week.
See you guys in a few weeks.
See you in a few weeks. Brother, like always, it's been a pleasure. You stay blessed. To everybody, thank you for tuning in to the On the Map podcast. I'm Coach Paul. That's our boy Jay over there. Peace.
Peace.